Discord. I wish we had like more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Repeat.
Same scenario.
Repeat.
Thank you, Carrington. What's that? This one? Call the bump. Nice. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna send Tom the link directly, and maybe Ashley too. I know Tom wants to hop in.
Well, you should get on the chat then and look at the link.
Yeah, he's a little oh,
On the record, is this what you want to say on the record? It worked.
actually back.
You are the captain now.
How's it going, Anna?
Oh, hi. I don't know
Hello.
if you can see me or what's going on. What up?
Nice. Happy to have you here again. So we got Jessica
you.
joining. She's been the one that's really been taking some action with the food forest type scenarios and stuff. So she's been doing a great job. Then also Tom and Ashley are over here. Tom is Ashley's dad. Ashley's one of my amazing partners of a very long time. And Tom is going to be
Awesome.
helping with the tiny home builds and stuff. So he's very skilled and knowledgeable in construction and house remodel and stuff. And I've done some jobs with him before.
Sweet.
Yep. So I guess
Heck yeah.
do that. So yeah, we'll just see how this goes. So one thing I want to mention just to start off, it's a thing that we didn't do last time, which is why we're in the situation now. So I do want to keep keeping open people's suggestions for what we talk about at meetings, and like kind of coming up with beforehand having like an actual more organized schedule for it instead of just like throwing shit out there. But I do have a ton of shit to talk about today in a number of different ways, kind of just filling in on what we've been doing and what we're going to be. Princess and I have a great with Princess, by the way. Princess is here. She's been also very helpful with social media and things. Hey, thank you.
Yee.
Yeah. So now you know each other in Zoom life. You knew each other in.
Wait, I think I might.
Have you met each other? Do you know? Does this bunny look familiar, Anna?
I think only online. I don't remember if we have in person or not. If so, it was like at an event or something. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Why is it like, what I want you to eat this?
Mhm.
Well, we'll get
Awesome.
to start.
So, yeah, I guess getting started, I would love to just talk about some of the cool stuff that we're doing today. That sort of, kind of pulling some things together.
Like we're meeting with our CPA.
So yeah, today is the day for meeting with our CPA and getting the paperwork filed to become the official nonprofit that it's meant to be. Basically, we raised the $425 necessary to get that going. Courtesy of my dad Scott and a few other people who want to be remaining anonymous. But yeah, so that's really exciting. We'll get the actual paperwork through today. And I don't know, I'll have to ask her a number of questions about how long it takes for the process and stuff like that, but
Weeks.
probably, maybe, I don't know. You think?
I've done it.
Wait.
Yeah, okay.
Takes a while.
So
What designation are you applying for the nonprofit?
501c3 would be probably the best move. I've been looking into a number of the different other nonprofits. I mean, if you have any sort of suggestion that you would know of, that might be even better.
Well, just under the 501c3, like, did you get classified as educational? Is that, I don't know which subcategory you picked. Like for my nonprofit, it's agricultural.
Okay.
Did you pick, because you're doing like more of a community group thing? Do you
Right.
remember, or do you know which one you're gonna choose? Because sometimes that affects how long it takes for the process and what you qualify for in the future.
Interesting. I mean, I definitely like the concept of educational. I think all this is like kind of a whole component of educating people, and we'll be hosting a lot of workshops and like really bringing a lot of people
Yeah.
in. It's obviously more than educational, but if you don't have, solid education, you ain't got nothing. So, that's
Yes.
really a huge component of what we're doing with Communitopia is to really bring people together that want to learn about various aspects and then putting them in the right places that are more like
Awesome.
personalized mentorships, so that, somebody who is very familiar with food forests can really guide the people who are coming in who might not be as familiar. I see
Mhm.
we got Sam here as well. Welcome, Sam. Thanks for coming. Just noticed you
Hi,
popped
how
up.
you doing? I just
Doing good.
Hello.
saw
You
this,
also-
so I thought I'd say
sorry,
hi
what-
and hello, everyone.
Yeah,
Hello.
Who is Zoom user?
yeah, there's also a Zoom user here. I'm not sure. Oh, that's Jessica.
Not it.
Oh, no, there's another one. That's
The
okay. So
anonymous, so FBI, no big deal.
That's two Jessica.
Yes, we're being watched.
that's fine. Not surprising.
Big Brother's watching.
If your name is appearing as Zoom user, it'd be great if you went to the participants and change your names so that we can know who you are, and maybe you turn on your camera or
That would be lovely.
any number of
If-
different
if
solutions.
desired. Oh, you know what? That's probably just Tom. Oh, never mind. Anyway, it's okay. So wherever we're at, we'll see if they want to kind of hop in a little more or less anonymously. Also,
Yeah, so-
this is Carrington as well. Carrington has been very helpful. We're meeting at his coffee shop here in St. Pete. But
Sweet.
he's very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff and really, putting a lot of energy into it as well. So yeah, so really grateful to have everyone here today. Thank you for your patience and the slight delay. Instead of it being 9:30 to 10 today, I live a little further away now.
Seems like 10 might be a better time. There's a lot more people.
It might be a better time to just do it at 10. So today we're going to be filing the paperwork. Princess and I are going to go look at a few different places and talk to a couple different people. So we're gonna go check out this wine loft that we might be having meetings in as well, and meeting up with what was her name?
The wine loft in Newport.
So Jessica, there's another Jessica, not this one here.
We're also by James and they have a food court.
Yeah, that's probably not the other.
Hello.
We're also by the Shanes.
Some-
On the food court.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So basically, yeah, so when we went to the Roots to Crown Town Hall yesterday, or 2 days ago now. That was a really cool event. There was a bunch of people there, all with their different businesses, different nonprofits and like creations that they're doing, different workshops and things. Literally every single person in that room, was about 30 of them, but every single person is extremely relevant to what we're trying to create. So I mentioned Communitopia. We each got some time to go around and kind of talk to each other about what we're creating. We mentioned Communitopia, and this guy Shane hit me up, like basically was like, inspired by, he raised his hand and, and was basically saying he's got some acreage up in north part of St. Pete that he wants to develop. And then also looking at collaborating with people to buy land in the Brooksville area. Which I've been looking at land, and Ashley also, and Tom and I have all been looking at land in that area for quite some time now. So yeah, that would be really cool to kind of like start collaborating with some people who have the land and be able to start to put some energy into some places and come up with some, agreements on what that looks like. Yeah, we're gonna go check out Shane's place today. And then we're also going to meet up with someone that like, for instance, like Alex and Princess and Jody, our CPA knows. His name's Paul, and he's interested in like the tiny home building and stuff, right? That's what it is.
And here's a project for you, possibly for you guys to talk about.
So yeah, so I think that's kind of like a lot of things are starting to happen as far as like, let's get some projects going. Let's get some things that we can start doing. There's already like the Gulfport Food Forest that Jessica helped kind of set up with that. Oh yeah, it does. It looks like we've got two different Jessicas, so that's perfect. So that the other Jessica, that was what was confusing. So that might be the one that we're meeting up with today if she's on the thing or whatever. Maybe
She
it's,
said she was gonna add that it'll be a face-to-face, but I don't know. if
so
she
maybe
did.
she sees it. So if you can hear me, Jessica, you can confirm the other Jessica. Sunshine, you're amazing. Thank you for being here.
I wanted to say something real quick. I got a hold of, or I texted Karina to ask, to make sure what piece of land she's giving to us to do the
Yeah.
food forest at park. So I'm waiting for a reply back on that. But as soon as I get what portion of land it is, then I would like to set up a date for us all to have an event meeting about that, to set up for the plants, like how we want to set it up, all the little
Right.
details. As soon as I get that information of what area is ours, then I'll let you all know.
Awesome, yeah. Ashley's been doing a really great job at collecting up information about the food forest aspect of things. She's very good at like documenting, and so she was there at both of the food forests that we went to Beacon Food Forest as well, Jungle Jay's spot up in Clearwater. And learned a bunch of stuff from that, and then basically trying to learn what are the things that we can grow super easily and proliferously, in Florida specifically. So, that's some really good information that we've been gathering. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about all these things. So we've got all these projects, and Glitz brought this up as well, and I definitely think that it's worth spending some time talking about. So, and Barrington may even have anyone else who has sort of suggestions on this. So we definitely do want to start raising funds, and we definitely want to start, I want to be able to pay people. I want to be able to support people in different ways, even if it's not financially at first, like at least being able to have some sort of, kind of work trade type agreement, whatever that looks like, even if that's for food or for space to stay or wherever it is, being able to set people up in the right places to be able to, I want people to feel appreciated and ensure that there's proper exchange for people's time and energy.
We should probably raise some money so that we can formalize those work trades agreements.
Yeah.
To like a legal, somebody who's legally able to say, yeah, this is a legally enforceable contract.
Right, no, that's definitely true. I want to come up with like legitimate contracts that people can see everything's written down well.
Yeah, I can do that.
There is a
Hi.
program.
Hello.
I don't know if you've heard of the program, but they have programs where people go around and work, at I heard about it from Buddhist place. They have people that come by and work and just stay there for working, stay there and eat.
Like
and
farm
so-
exchanges.
Yeah, there's a name for it. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you, but it's actually a thing where they have to sign up and go online and become, qualified, but basically they just go around and work for people for
Yeah.
food,
Yeah, I think it's maybe whooping that you're thinking about.
Wolfing, yeah, that's what
Right,
it's
yeah,
called.
yeah, so there's definitely a lot of opportunities with that.
No, that's like another organization though.
It is another organization, but we can basically be doing that same sort of thing ourselves, or we could work with Wolfing. There's really no reason not to.
Sure, I
We
mean,
just connect into that
We would
network.
list our projects on. Blue.
List the projects, right? It would be like, listing the farms and the places that we're participating with, so, that there is some sort of work trade agreement. But yeah, no, I definitely agree.
But that's the idea, is
yeah.
we need to have contracts for people who want to do work trade so that it's legit.
Right,
I don't know if anybody else here has experience investing time and energy into a project where the manager owner doesn't turn out to be as ethical or reliable as once hoped. So
yeah,
making sure that we have those
protections.
sorts of
Well, that's the thing too, obviously I want us all to be aligned on being an organization that really does take care of people, that is, really understanding the concepts of energy exchange, putting in this effort and being able to, feel supported by the community. Really, that's what this is all about, is ensuring that we're like creating this mutual platform for support. So with that being said, I definitely think, so once we get this paperwork filed and things, there's a lot more opportunity for us to start applying for grants, and really connecting with people that want to contribute to this and kind of give us a jump start, a kickstart, in the same sense that we could be working towards some fundraisers. But you know, I was talking with someone yesterday, I forget who, but basically I feel like, you know, that I don't want this thing to be constantly needing to be supported by fundraisers, right? It's like that's not really a sustainable model, I would say. It's like that's a really good way to kind of get things going, and it doesn't mean that we can't do fundraisers, but I want it to be able to kind of support itself with what we're creating, and you know, and even being able to you know, sell products. So for instance, like with Tom and I building these tiny homes, you know, maybe it's like a percentage of the tiny homes that we build goes back into Communitopia nonprofit, essentially like donated to the nonprofit. You know, ultimately, you know, it'd be nice for everything to be under the structure of nonprofits. That's kind of what we're sort of pushing for here a little bit, is you know, I mean, I kind of see it as like rebuilding society from the inside out using the nonprofit structure that's like given to us by the government. That's like kind of got all these like protections anyway. So we come up with all these like strategies to, you know, funnel as much as we can into that while the nonprofits support us. So, you know, and with that being said, they can pay us, you know. Yeah. Do what?
So let's, sound like someone was trying to talk.
Oh yeah, does anyone have anything to add to that, or any questions or anything? Cool, no worries. Yeah, so, I know that Jessica and I have been talking a little bit as well. And, you know, I think something that we can all kind of, this is something we mentioned a little bit at the Saturday meeting, but I think it's time to sort of start thinking about creating a really badass event that we could have that could serve as a fundraiser and bringing all the people together to really start to talk about what we're doing. You know, have it really badass, like have people playing music, people bringing art. We could be planting things, have like, you know, essentially like a workshop where we're all planting, and maybe that'll be, you know, at the Gulfport Food Forest down here. You know, and basically like bring in like vendors of all these different people that like support it, you know, that are kind of aligned, that are like generally aligned with the concepts of community construction. So, you know, I think that's something that we can all sort of start just thinking about. Weird.
I have a
It should just
question.
it should just let everyone, oh, it should just let everyone in at this point. Everyone else has popped in. No one else had to like click anything.
Check participants.
I told her
Shouldn't be
to
anyone
try
trying to join.
Ashley's.
Not participant.
She's Zoom user. No.
All right, well, it's not us.
Yeah,
I told her to try what Ashley said.
yeah, that's a good idea. Copy and paste in the browser. So yeah, so I think that's kind of, you know, this is just sort of, let's keep it in our minds that it's something that we're kind of building to. It's probably maybe like a month or two away. I'd probably say 2 is like a reasonable thing, but we could make it really awesome. Like I know so many people, so many different artists, you know, teachers and trainers and all these people that we can really start to bring together and actually have like a big blowout event where we can, you know, like advertise ourselves and a bunch of other people who have their different like projects and stuff that we're all kind of collaborating in. So I think that'd be a really great way to sort of, you know, get the word out to the community. And, you know, we kind of maybe do something maybe a little bit smaller beforehand. But like, this is something I think that we should, you know, really start to just get in our minds about the planning process and start just thinking about it and imagining it, like thinking
It's like
about the
it's
people.
like a
we could-
soft launch almost.
Yeah, soft launch, right, right. So that's a good way to put it. And I guess probably by that time, you know, we'll be an official nonprofit, so we can, you know, really start to funnel some money into it. You know, a number of people I met at the at the town hall, they do like website development and things. I think that's definitely something that we want to get going as well, which I'm going to write that down because I think that would be really valuable to have. a website that we can actually also collect donations on. You know, and really start to, you know, kind of solidify branding. Is that
Yeah,
Robert?
I think your website is a good idea
What was that, Sam?
because, having a place that you can go online and see what's actually going on and
Right.
see what you're doing, take pictures of like we're growing this food, have this online community and so forth. So people can see it and then they'll have something that they can look at and say, well, yes, I want to contribute to this. And then you can have, kind of grow your online presence. And because I think there's a lot of people that like the idea of community that maybe don't live in your area. Like I'm one, and would be like interested in helping out without being there, at the time anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways that people who aren't necessarily in the St. Pete area could be involved. But also this is definitely something that I want to expand outwards across the country, across the world. But obviously we can only start where we're at. But it's so where do you live, Sam? Actually, like I don't even know necessarily where Anna lives. Where do both of you live?
I live right now I'm in New Mexico, but I'm going back to Crestone, Colorado at the end of the month. So kind of live in Crestone in Colorado.
Okay,
Right
cool,
now.
nice. Anna, where do
So-
you
That's
live?
awesome. I live in Lake County, but right on the border. I'm closer to Volusia, so I'm in DeLand. It's about 45 minutes north of Orlando, right by the edge of the Ocala National Forest.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's beautiful up there. Actually, I love that spot. So yeah, so this is all about like creating this network as well, and really starting to get people organized, in their locations. So Larissa also here, she lives up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, my partner Michelle is here too.
Hey, how's it going, Michelle?
Hi.
Good to see you.
I just woke up, but hello.
Yeah, I fell asleep while I was waiting for the Zoom meeting to start, so I'm hopping in a little late.
I didn't
Sorry,
get off work
guys.
till like 2.
That's cool. I mean, we started at 10 today anyway, so you're in a good space. So, yeah, so that's kind of the idea too, is like we create these different like kind of pockets of people that can connect to the people around them and connect to their communities. And, really this is a huge like network of networks that I'm kind of feeling. That's kind of like the concept of like a mycelial network, right? You have like these points of growth and it spreads out from there and it all connects together into this one sort of mycelial like being. And that's kind of the way that I'm thinking about all this. It was really cool to at the town hall the other day to just meet with so many people who have their own networks and being able to kind of just collaborate with everybody and and help them out, and really wherever we are at around the country, there's people everywhere that need help. So we can start to sort of figure out ways that we can create these points of growth, and really, Communitopia supports that entire structure instead of it just being like most of the people that I know are here in St. Pete or in Florida. So that's why, like, if there's a higher concentration, but of course I'd love to bring more people in from everywhere across the country. But that brings me to kind of the next point too, is like this thing is getting some legs. There's a lot of people that are interested in it. I know that there are, like, there's so many people. I've been talking to people for probably like 7 or 8 years now about the concepts of community development, and just I've gotten so much interest in it, and that's really what led me to really putting some energy into starting up just naming it is really all it is. It just came up with a name and started like putting some of the ideas on paper, and we're seeing what the collective agreement is about all of it. So if anyone is interested and hasn't seen it yet, there is a document that I've been sharing with as many people as I can, that lists out in detail, a lot more detail, at least a lot of the plans for Communitopia.
And there's literally a full-time work opportunity available to anybody who's interested.
I mean, I think there's a number of different work opportunities, especially even with
But paid. About
Yeah, I
paid,
know,
like-
I understand. Yeah, but I mean, so same with these other ones too. So that's like the financial advising thing. And then there's also things that we're working on, like for instance with Alex, and there's a number of other projects, like more like construction type projects and things of like helping people out and stuff. You know, so kind of coming up with you know, these groups of people who are team leading the different projects that can get people tapped into the networks to, you know, start making some money as well. And then also, you know, and as we move forward, I definitely do want, like, and that's what we were talking about. I do want the nonprofits to pay people like reasonable amounts of money. It's like I don't want it to just be a fully volunteer type thing, you know.
Some care.
But yeah, so that's kind of like you know, that's a little ways in the future. Obviously, at this point, we're not really we're not funded enough yet. But I do feel that there's going, like, especially once this thing is actually an entity, I think it's all going to really start pouring in, and we can really start tapping into the community. You know, for people who are capable of supporting some of these business ventures that we have. Another one of them being, and Justin's not here today, but Justin Marlin's also a person we've been participating a lot with, and he's very interested in the mushroom cultivation aspect. I'm also very, very interested in mushroom cultivation. I've been a mushroom cultivator for quite some time in my life, you know, and really starting to get the gourmet and medicinal mushroom businesses off the ground as well. You know, there's a lot of opportunities that we could sort of start. Really, I like to ask people and try to help them understand themselves, like, what is it that you want to be doing with your time? And let's find a way that we can, you know, work together in making that thing happen. So, you know, instead of like, you know, I mean, you know, I could come up with all sorts of examples of like places that I've like wasted my time. It's never really a waste. I'm still always learning and gaining from it, and it's always an exchange. But you know, I'm trying to be as efficient as I can with what I'm doing with my time and with myself. And I think it's good to really encourage that in each other to ensure that we're not draining ourselves. And you know, that's something even Jessica was mentioning too. Like, you know, she wanted to hop on the Zoom instead of being here today. Totally understandable. Like, we all got to be real with the amount of energy that we're willing to put into something. And just the fact that you guys are here today, I appreciate you putting in even just the time. That is energy, that you're here to just like talk and listen and be a part of the conversation and really start to like understand what we're doing. You know, I think that by itself means a lot to me personally. And I know as an entity, that's exactly what Communitopia needs. But I guess I got a little sidetracked on that. Really think that we benefit a lot from creating more organization, especially with all these people that are kind of hopping in. The website will help a lot with that. We can really start to, you know, refine the projects and the directions that we're going in, because you know, we don't want to like fragment so much that it's like all of us running around by ourselves doing the projects, right? And then it's like, then it's not really like a focused and you know, concerted effort.
Well, the problem there would not be being too divided. It would be a lack of recruiting. It would be that we're not bringing people in to help with these projects.
Right. Well, there's that. There's also you know, we all have our own ideas, right, on what we want to do. So
Someone said we need this.
yeah, we do need business cards. Yeah, let's write that down, because that's
Like
something
business
that's
cards or something is like 100 for 20 or $25
I,
or
I,
100.
I think that's a little premature, but
well, we do need them at some.
yeah,
They don't have to get them like immediate, but like.
I don't think they're really necessary. I think it's it's not necessary. It seems like there's all these digital resources, like
Sure, digital is fine.
like just get people's phone numbers, just connect with people, and then you
Sure.
don't have to give them a business card. Like,
Sure, like
if they're actually interested,
Yeah.
they'll exchange information with
Sure.
you. If they're not really interested, they'll say, you have a business card.
Well, right, and then the interesting part is just being able to like, it's like the, yeah,
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
captures on, all they do is scan
Yeah,
that. and then
I like that
they
better.
capture
Paper,
all the information.
we're an environmental group, like.
no, I agree, I definitely, I feel the benefits from that. I mean, you know,
I mean, I'm all for voting on it.
if we
but-
make business cards, we make it out of hemp or something, you know, make it out of something that's like a little more sustainable or whatever, but that's not really like, I like the digital business card, that's a really great place to start, but basically, yeah, it's like starting to develop the like professionalism behind it all and to really present ourselves in the proper way. That's something that Glitz was talking about, connected with a friend from the past who, their whole purpose is to help people set up co-ops, and is connected with essentially like a co-op bank that just essentially just like gives grants out for these types of developments. But we want to be really solidified and professional in what we're doing and to show that we're actually doing it. So there's a couple of things that goes into that. Some of it is just the branding and the way that we present ourselves and the way that we present, you know, Communitopia as an entity. It's the way we you know, interact with people about it. It's the things that we do, the projects that we're accomplishing. So, you know, once we start to kind of solidify in these projects and start to get some of these things done, you know, that's really where, and that's where I think it kind of starts. Hey, Natty, what's up? Got another person joining for the meeting here, a friend of mine. How's it going, Natty?
I was on to.
So yeah, this is Natty, great friend. In fact, when I moved to St. Pete, I started living in a 100 square foot tiny home. That was a really enjoyable experience, and Natty was living across from me in another tiny home that was slightly bigger, not too much bigger, but a little bit bigger. So those are our kind of first tiny home experiences. It looks like Tom, you raised your hand. Do you have a question or a statement? Or was that an accident?
Can you hear us?
Tom, can you hear us?
My hand is up.
Yeah.
He's calling me.
I don't know that.
All right, I think maybe that was an accident.
He meant to raise his hand.
That's fine. But yeah, so definitely, I think, so like the organization, I think, will really start to come, especially when we have the projects. But I guess what I'm saying too is that, you know, what I was kind of mentioning to Glitz, like, we don't want to just all like fragment out in all these different places and then not really accomplish anything because we're all off doing different things. It's a team effort and like team participation. We're really trying to figure out for ourselves, like, what do we want to be involved in? So, you know, right now, the two major things that are on the table are the tiny home building and the food forests. I think that's a really great place to start. There's also the other kind of, I'd say, pillar that's really a critical focus is the education pillar as well, which will be, you know, focused on like the workshops and, you know, basically bringing people into those tiny home building and food forest teams to learn about the processes. And, you know, frankly, I need that help too. Like, I don't really know a huge amount about food forests, and like, you know, even just these past couple times, just going around and looking at some of these things, I learned a lot. But yeah, we basically want to start bringing in the people that would be, you know, interested in contributing to those projects and start like actually making the plans to go like do the things, you know, start to actually, you know, plant stuff and, you know, so I think today will be really good. I'm really excited to go up to Shane's place. That's also like, to have private property that we're developing on it's a lot easier in a lot of ways. Like the public property thing, like you're trying to basically like wrestle with the local government and things to like get them to like be okay with you know, you planting a food forest. And you know, and then really like something I learned too, like you know, it seems likely that they're probably going around and like spraying the food forest with like pesticides and things, because there's not really much you can do about that, because like, I mean, we might be able to, like, basically what I'm understanding, they I was talking to someone about it and they're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're going around and like spraying for like bugs and stuff like that. Which that's a problem. That's a big problem. Having a private space that we can really start to cultivate in a way that that is really mindful and isn't, you know, subjected by the government, will be really helpful. So, you know, I think I'm going to talk to him today about also like kind of getting the project going up there. So So yeah, I think, that's really like where a lot of the organization will need to start developing these systems to, create the events for us to be able to go and do those things.
I think it's really important for this meeting to be more structured.
And no, that's definitely the case, and that's kind of where I started too, which is, I want us all, like, maybe even at the end of the meeting, we can kind of list out the things that we want to discuss and start to create a better, plan for, what we're gonna talk about at these meetings, because I just kind of come in, I mean, I'll be completely real, like, I'm just like so flow, I just like do whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, it'll all work and stuff, but like, there's a lot of value in like the actual organizational tactics and being able to actually have like that list of things, and I want it to be a community discussion as well. So, this is something that can kind of formulate from one meeting to the next. So, I mean, sure. Well, let's do it. So let's talk about what we're gonna do at the next meeting. So, if anyone here also has anything that they'd want to discuss, oh, look, we got Amanda Bloom's on.
I have a question. Do you put the meetings, do you post what time the meetings are going to be started somewhere?
Yeah, so I
I can't hear you at all. Can you speak up at all?
Me? Yeah, I said, do you post where the meetings, what date, what time they start? And because I've just seen like the meetings just kind of pop up randomly on Messenger. And I also want to apologize that my power just went out here. Like, I'm out in the
Not
middle of a desert, and the only thing I have is Starlink. And I've been here over a month, and the power went out for the first time this morning. So that's why I kind of disappeared.
I was wondering.
Creepy.
But
No worries.
Yeah, so the meetings are posted on the Communitopia Messenger group. They've been the same time every week. This is the first week that we've moved meeting back to 10 o'clock. And the Saturday meeting, that was the first time we had the Saturday.
so you don't say we're going to have a meeting.
Can you say that again?
So you don't post anywhere that you're going to have a meeting at a certain time. You don't post anywhere that, yes, we're going to have, there's no schedule for
Like
meetings anymore.
pre-planning.
Yes, so I post it on the Communitopia friend profile, which is like
Okay.
Unitopia, two separate words. But yeah, so generally I'm posting on there, but I mean, I'll be real about that too. Like I got so much shit going on. So I posted it like this morning, you know what I mean? Like I could certainly get better at, posting prematurely like the night before and things, and starting to really get some flow with all this. I mean, it's honestly amazing to me that we have, 7 people here on Zoom, like wanting to talk about this. I think, it's like, there's a couple other things, like I need to figure out this whole like speaker thing. It's really hard to hear anyone, just because like my computer speaker is like absolutely freaking awful. So there's like technical things to work out as well. But now it's like I'm starting to see there's, and I knew this already, but there's a significant amount of interest in participating in this whole thing. So like really it's about getting streamlined. Like we really want to get focused and start putting the energy in where we can to, make this more accessible to people.
So so did I miss your suggestion for what we talk about at the next meeting, Sam? Or
Well, yeah, maybe have a schedule, like even on Facebook, there's a way to schedule, to just put us to schedule meetings, and so everybody
Like
knows
every
that.
Friday at 10 or something. So it's predictable, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to
so
do
just
that.
create
I don't-
like a recurring event on Facebook, basically.
Yeah, and if you change the time, then everybody knows, or if you, whatever, because I just kind of noticed it this morning. I didn't know that it was happening, so I showed up late, but I didn't even know it was happening until I noticed it on Messenger, which is no big deal. I mean, people are showing up. There's a lot of interest in it. It's not a criticism. It's just, I was wondering if there was a place where these meetings were posted so I could have a heads up. That's all.
Yeah, so we can talk about promotion, where people are sharing the event. And I mean, I think that's kind of along the same lines of a recruiting conversation as well.
Yeah, definitely, basically, yeah, no, I really like that. I will create a recurring event for for all the meetings. And in fact, I should be able to have it so that the Zoom link is just available in that.
Right.
Instead of needing to post the Zoom link every time and having like this issue with all of it. You know, then at least it's like available in a place. Cause you know, honestly, the group chats, they're a little wild. It's a little hard to kind of like keep the things in that are important on the group chat because everyone's having discussion, which I think is also really healthy.
Any other points of order, any other topics of interest to discuss next week?
I have some, yeah. I'm curious if we can get kind of a more organized idea of like what you guys are currently working on, like who has land they want to use, what is available, what spaces are available, like what I think that's, I don't know anything about that really. It seems a little bit not organized yet, which just is like a timing thing. I know everything's still super new and you guys are getting everything together, but I was taught like it seems there are potentially other people who are a bit confused about that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good bet. You know, I think it's honestly all the places that we're participating with is quite new in general.
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point where we actually are, like, the resources are there.
It should still, even if it's new, we should still have like what do you think, like an Excel spreadsheet or like
Yeah, something. So people know where places are, what's going on, you know, like
Communitopia.
and then
we have
like oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, we made like a Google account for the group. So there's like an email and we could put those like all of that information into like a document on the Google Drive. And share it.
That would be good. And like, I don't know what stage you're in or when you want to start talking about like planning what you guys are going to plant, but Michelle definitely has a lot of experience in like,
I worked in I have like a background in conservation and restoration of natural areas. And I think that once you guys start talking about the food forest, I think there's a lot of questions that need to get answered as far as like the production and stuff. Like, are you guys planning on doing only native foods, right? And then if not, how is that going to affect the ecosystem around? And then if you guys don't want to use any pesticides at all, it's definitely possible, but that's a whole nother thing to get into because getting the land ready where there aren't going to be like non-native plants that are going to invade, it's either going to take a lot of work or there are going to have to be some pesticides used. There are like natural alternatives, but unfortunately don't really work as well. And they do need a lot of time and effort. But I think that first thinking about the types of foods that you guys are going to want to be growing and how that's going to affect the land around you is also like important. It's not something that really needs to be thought of right now, but it is going to matter later on.
So we need to plan to organize an ecology team. Like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. Definitely, I don't have that information personally, so I need that for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really not super premature because you know that's approaching relatively quickly. So we can also basically we can revisit that even the next meeting. I know Ashley's been collecting a lot of information about a lot of the native and I assume actually even some non-native plants that were say like Beacon Food Forest, for instance, you know, that were growing really well. But you know, I think definitely, obviously, we want a large concentration of native plants. But I don't think, I mean,
we can discuss this later. This is
okay. Sure.
I think
we're
just trying to bring up action items that we can discuss.
You're right. Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please do.
Hi, everyone. My name's Natalia. I've been in the holistic wellness industry now for, I don't know, 20 something years. But I've been to sustainable, like retreat spaces and places of that nature. There's one specific place that really turned me on to permaculture, sustainability, and just living off the grid, right? I think a really good suggestion is like turning to these spaces and looking at their rubric or their curriculum.
Yeah.
I said that completely wrong. But like basically looking at them as a resource, if you will, take what is
Mhm.
important and then leave the rest, right? So I love the idea of
Yeah.
permaculture and sustainability, and if someone's doing it right, let's just like
Yeah.
find that
Yeah.
and
I'm
model some
sure-
stuff, and then
yeah.
everyone's expertise can kind of come in and be like, okay, this is where I specialize, this is my niche. I'm a
Mhm.
builder, I'm a grower, I'm an herbalist, I'm a cultivator. Because if it's already there, it's like, why reinvent the wheel, right? Because then we're gonna be
Yeah.
running in circles trying to figure this all out. And I think that that's actually taking up more time. So if, you know, we have resources, places that we've been, that we're like, whoa, I would love to model it after this business or this
Mhm.
concept, you know, I think that's kind of a good way to figure it out a little bit more effortlessly. And then obviously we can be like, all right, this resonates with the mission, this doesn't resonate with the mission, and you know, going forward in that direction. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Definitely.
That's,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
highly
that
agree.
immediately makes me think of the hostel in the forest, and I'm sure there's people in
Yes,
the community that would, yeah, be happy to hop on.
Well, I
I
definitely,
think having the
Hey,
goggles
That's a
Chris?
whole nother.
Chris,
yeah,
Chris, can you address, the tiny home vision? I do have a couple things that I can share.
yeah, absolutely. We'll wrap up that particular thing with, I'd like to basically just situations like that. Let's just organize field trips, basically, for anyone who wants to join, especially obviously people in the area. Unfortunately, like, unless you guys want to come from far and wide, which would be super great, like something like Hostel in the
I
Forest
think-
would be
I
great.
think-
I'll come down to go to the hostel in the forest.
Even better,
Don't
even
tempt me.
better than like making it like saying we have to travel to certain locations, like connecting with people that are there and having them join us and
Sure.
talk about, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could just be a combination of both, right? I mean, it'd be really nice to go up to the Hostel in the Forest and go like connect with all the people there.
Sure, that'd be
Same with whatever place you were talking
And
about.
that honestly, Hostel in the Forest is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
You know, that whether or not that's actually what we're interested in being is 100%, you know, up to us. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, do y'all know lawyers? Do y'all know people, attorney, you know, because he's a lawyer.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah.
I do-
One that
I
like
do
set
know
it all
Uncle
up.
Tom.
And
He's pretty awesome.
yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, these people are great resources to turn to and be like, hey, we want to learn how to do this. How can we do this successfully?
Right.
And also make it, you know, successful, lucrative, all that good stuff.
And we could put together
Yeah.
like a whole workshop training session and like invite people from all these different places to talk about this one thing.
Yeah,
And then do a different topic next week.
Yeah.
And do a different topic
like a
next
skill share or
Yeah.
like, okay, I like
Mhm.
that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah.
week. Then it's like, instead of traveling to all these places and then trying to integrate what we learn, we bring all these places together and. we all-
And I think that's more like to the point, right?
Right.
So that we're getting it done, not like, whoa, let's have fun and just go, which is great.
I love field
But
trips.
also, this is
Yeah.
stuff that needs to happen.
Well, it could be
Exactly.
both, and definitely I want to be more efficient. The more efficient, the better.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
being able to also go to a space and put the energy into the space speaks a lot. So not just going there to just like go hang out, but like to go complete a project and like
It's work.
organize
It's
that.
like
Right,
making it happen.
right. So this would require projects, but
I can't speak for them, but my guess is people that are already doing this work would love nothing more than to see us be successful.
yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we want them to be successful too, so that's where the mutual exchange comes in, like, you know, be able to put a little.
They are successful. That's why we're modeling them.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
exactly.
That's the truth.
And
That's the
taking
truth.
what we resonate with and leaving the stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So
And
yeah,
I
so
think that like if you guys are focusing on action items, which obviously makes the most sense, I think that then for the food forest, the first thing would be like, are you guys focusing specifically on food, or are you guys focusing on food as it applies to the ecological impact of what you're going to be growing, and then in that determining that would determine the types of people that you would be going to model, right? That would probably be the
Wow, that's a
only.
really good point. I feel like soil is so important because I feel
Mhm.
like restoring the soil, restoring the quality of the land
Yeah.
that we're already on, like, cause I think you're right, including with like pesticides and all that stuff, it's like, that's a lot. It's a tall order to do that.
Mhm.
If we were to focus more on like locking carbon into the soil and doing more of
Mhm.
that's what I'm
Mhm.
here for that. Like, how can I support?
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, that's something where I live, it's very polluted, and that's like gonna be anything here would have to have a huge focus on soil. It's Florida is getting pretty bad with pesticides in
Oh, it's
general.
bad.
It's in everything now.
It's bad.
It's like a more invisible pollution down there as well. You kind of don't really notice it.
Oh, yeah, it's increasingly gotten worse. Our water pollution is so bad. I mean,
Mhm.
and it's getting hotter, right? We're feeling the temperature
Yeah.
rising. So much is happening, and it's like, yeah, and we have the resources. It's just executing it, making it come to life,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. Yeah, which is it's gonna take a little while to have these be more and more organized to more and more specific tasks, I guess. It's all like you guys are applying for the nonprofit Monday next week. Oh, I don't think you heard me.
Any other suggestions for
That timing, because what I'd really like to do, I want to also open up the floor a little bit for Tom as well. Because he wants to address some things. I kind of wanted to just touch on the tiny home aspect. I think I'm gonna have to be wrapping it up relatively
right,
soon
we
here.
got like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
After 3:30, so just do
okay, well, we'll figure it out if it doesn't wrap up quite right, but basically, yeah, so let's
Talk about that.
let's address this, so I'm gonna
So you
be,
gotta go.
I'm looking to rent out space in downtown St. Pete's, like warehouse space, and we're gonna be building mobile tiny homes. I think that's a really good place to start, essentially just boxes on wheels that people can tow around. And then we can kind of start to solidify where to put them. That's also the next kind of step, but Tom is the one that I'm gonna be working pretty heavily with on the actual design and construction of some of these first prototypes. I'd love to open the floor to you, Tom, if you have any sort of like things to mention about that or suggestions.
Yes, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things being talked about right now. You
Yeah.
know, from food source to, impact to reaching out to other people of like mind and everything like that. I kind of want to sequester my thoughts to the home, the manual building of the home. You do a cost analysis, but there's a lot to say about that, as far as what type of wood and what type of material you're going to use. But as far as, a basic shape of a house, $1,000 can provide the wood, another $1,000 for miscellaneous fasteners and whatnot. And then you got yourself a building, probably constructed with one person in 1 week.
Right.
So, it's not hard to build a building. And, so that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, that's definitely a good bet. We want to be as cost efficient as we can while also talking about how to use sustainable materials, like essentially like even like scrap materials and things that are like being thrown away. And start, but in the beginnings
Just,
too. What was that?
Come up with non-offensive material as far as impact and whatnot. But the material can be assembled. That's just a matter of fact. As far as building it in concert with, what you have going on in other areas, as far as, a food plot and whatnot. The house and building, is there for a person to live and to manage, what you all are talking about, but the basic idea of shelter, you know, can be attained quite easily. It's just a matter of coming up with the material. The construction of it is just a matter of fact that can be done in an event.
Right.
People can watch it be assembled during an event and it'll be done. It's a basic shell and people can address it according to their specific needs. And push come to shove, it can be assembled on site. You can just bring it in wall by wall and just erect the walls and boom, you're done. Or you could just stick build it. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm waiting and willing to contribute, as far as a place to build it, a place to house the tiny building after it's constructed, whether it be a prototype or a commission basis. I think a little love forward, to be able to put a tiny home and build it so that people can visually see that, yes, it can be accomplished and it's not, an arduous chore like it would be a food plot.
Right.
There's a lot of preparation on food plots. But as far as the tiny home, a prototype's a prototype. It is there for us to evaluate. And so a basic box building, so that a person can live in there. I think that's where y'all are wanting to go, right?
Mhm.
So no amenities, just a room, basically.
Yeah, I've got it down to the number of 2x4s and 2x6s and whatever.
Awesome.
If you want to go ahead and chop down a cypress tree out of the woods with a mobile unit, untreated, and then treat the wood with a plant-based oil, that's fine. I'm not versed in it, but I know it's possible rather than the toxic precious.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely what we're talking about too, is potentially clearing out land from like our friends' properties and things, clearing out some trees and then using those trees, milling it ourselves, getting like essentially a mobile mill and basically
a mobile mill that'll cut down a 3-foot trunk probably costs you about $1,000, maybe $2,000 for a mobile mill unit. Needs to have somebody that know how to use it. But I'm more concerned about a prototype.
Right.
Regardless of its toxic nature, we'll try and reduce it as much as possible. But we gotta put a face to our vision. And I don't want to expend a lot of energy by building a prototype, if it's absolutely in the wrong direction. And so my ideas are but ideas, a community effort as to, the shell that's being built, that's not hard.
Yeah.
It's just a manual expression.
Yeah.
Would it be crazy to, like, in Florida, there's so much new development that when I lived down there, my stepdad worked for a concrete company, so I kind of knew which developments were in the works, and you can just go into those dumpsters and get all of the wood you need, brand new, perfectly good wood. They just throw away the extra. Like, if you can find somebody like a development of Ryan Homes, especially, it's at least taking it from a landfill. It's free and it is readily available in multiple places all over Florida. And for a tiny home, it's not that crazy to think about getting enough materials for that.
Yeah.
So if you did want to be sustainable and kind of like try to get something going, I don't know, it's just an option.
Yeah. It takes a person to be able to contact, where this wood and materials are, and take that to a place of assembly, and then build it. We're looking at about $1,000 worth of wood from Home Depot, right? So from there, we can absolutely go downward in the cost. There's plenty of places that have excess lumber. And
Yeah,
that would be something. So, to build a prototype, not that it's the first tiny building ever assembled, but for us,
yeah.
it is kind of new ground. And so, I want to keep it simple, keep it within, things. And if somebody wants to address it and put an artistic flavor on it, an interior, fold down bunk beds, whatever, and an attic access and sliding
Mhm.
doors and solar panels and water, collecting agent off the roof, all that, but we need a box,
Right.
and some people are quite resourceful. They can live in a box. They can live outside in a hammock, and so if we have, a building that we have basically built, let alone, put a nice window in the door to lock it up and secure it. I think to come up with the material, and I think Chris addressed coming up with material. I think Chris introduced a man that is out of town that has access to enough wood to be able to build a tiny home.
Oh, nice.
Once we
Awesome.
come up with that wood and we can
Yep.
look at the size of it and incorporate it into basically a prototype box, and then you can visually see the box and see how that can be incorporated into a person staying and, living where they're at.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so, but you definitely need a shelter. So, all the ambitions about meetings and sustainable, food source and all that, but you are basically going to need a place of shelter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I'm coming from, as far as meetings and gathering people together and stuff like that. When it comes time to build a tiny home, that's a matter of fact.
So whenever you have
That's a matter of
boxes,
that is basically a day event with people fiddling around with tools and building something. It is not hard.
what
Yeah.
about the facilities though?
So
I mean, you
that's
go to the
where I'm coming
bathroom.
from. So
You're talking about like-
where
I'm
you
definitely,
gonna put the
I'm definitely
boxes?
on board. And you all go ahead and wrap your minds around, all the things that you need to do. But when it comes time, to go ahead and put something together, have somebody that can live there and manage it, and then put it together and let somebody begin to live off of the structure that we build. And then from there, you can go ahead and build your food plot and lessen your impact. But, push come to shove, sooner or later, a tiny home needs to be built.
Yeah. No, I love
You're
the
gonna need
idea.
sewer.
Let's definitely, yeah,
Okay.
we definitely want sewage. I would like compost toilets maybe, ideally, and definitely like a shower.
Really better, like sewage and.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's stationary, but you wanna be able to move it around, like really, I live RV life and compost toilets is like really not have to worry about emptying the sewer is like top tier.
Primo.
Yeah. Having to
Yeah.
worry about emptying the
Sewer's pretty-
sewer just adds a whole nother like thing of problems and just like composting toilets are really the way to go.
Hmm. And they won't get you flagged with like, if you are in an area where the local government doesn't like off-grid living, they will come after you and they will try to fuck with you on every little regulation. And those composting toilets really save you with having to deal with
Yeah,
sewage
I
issues.
felt
That's like always what they shut people down for.
Nice.
Yeah.
My one friend had to be hooked up to the water, whether they were using it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
think
yeah.
there
Those
is
properties,
there is a size restriction within city limits of St. Petersburg as to the footprint on the ground. If it's less than 100 square feet, there is not a permit required to build the structure. But let alone the electricity and water and the fact that somebody's living there, would have to have somebody go ahead and talk to the city to find out exactly what are the parameters. And then once we know the parameters, we can negotiate that. you know, or put a moratorium on it and have another location. But I still believe that in St. Petersburg, you can build a tiny home and people can live there.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chris
I don't
lived
think
in
it-
a tiny home. Did you guys have any issues with stuff like that in your?
Well, the first one
Community?
that was built was the 100 square foot, which they didn't really need the permitting. But the one that was built for Natty was bigger than that, and he actually did acquire the permitting to build the tiny home. Which I'd like to continue. I mean, you know, you said it was Mark. I'm not really quite sure. Like, you know, I don't know like a lot of the details on all that, but I'd like to connect with people that
Mhm.
do, that have built these things. It's very different when you put them on wheels.
Yeah.
The regulations are, there's a lot
Yeah.
like less essentially, but it's still gotta be
Okay.
structured right and the right sizes and things. So there's like, you're still working within this kind of like, within this box. But I like the idea, basically what we're looking to do is build the most efficient and functional with like a little bit of like some artistic flair. But like, really, we're trying to get this thing like really like built like as quickly as possible. And Tom's right. And I mean, to be
Mhm.
honest, you know, I'm going to put everything I can into building this box because I need somewhere to live. Like I need a box to live in myself. So
Yeah.
I can be the one
Yeah.
to be testing out this prototype, you know, and going through the process of like what it needs to actually have included. You know, I would like there to at least be, you know, say like water hookup, and like a composting toilet. It doesn't really need to be too much more than that as far as amenities. I just need like a bed, you know, electric with some, you know, like LED lights, and then the shower. Even if the shower just like could be like even an outdoor shower or something like that popping off the side.
Yeah.
Gravity fed from the roof.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can do like a tank on the roof that the sun heats.
Rainwater if it's plentiful, if not, just backfill it. Use
Yeah.
gravity for your shower. You can use gravity, you know, if you want to, you know, well, the toilet is, in and in itself. You know, that's an add-on,
Right.
somebody can work on, the toilet dispensary, independent from, the tiny house, but, obviously, it's gonna be over on the corner of the house, with, a semblance of, curtains or privacy, along in conjunction with the shower, and then basically all you need is water inside the house, and that can be collected, quite easily, and stored. Any kind of excess can be used for the plants, in a weep system around the house, whatever, but, get the box built. The box can be built, you just kind of let me know in your forum and your direction as to how you want to progress on it. And,
Yep.
I'd be more than willing and happy to, get this started. Once I have wood in my hands, it's a Tonka toy. It's a Lincoln log.
I feel that.
Keep my fingers out of the saw and put it together. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing invigorating more than to watch Amish people put together a barn as a community. And, that's what's being done here, is that a community is building a home for somebody.
Right.
And I can't think of anything more honorable to do. And, the building of the home is minuscule, gathering the people together with the same heart and mind and vision. It's a body of vision. And so each vision needs to be married with the group.
Right. Yeah, the collective.
The visions all over the board.
Just let her know.
And the visions need to be a part of the that makes sense.
Okay, so, okay, we're gonna wrap this up a little bit. If anyone has anything else that they wanted to add or anything that we wanted to talk about on the next meeting, feel free. We've got about a couple minutes left here.
I do think you guys, I don't know, I lived in St. Pete like I don't know, 6 years ago or something, and I think it's come a long way since then, but they were really fighting us on our property. Like every week we had new notices of that they were upset by, and I think it's a good idea to think about the fact that there might be
It's the
some like kind of
permeable ground
retaliation
that
as
needs to
you
be maintained.
Right.
as you move forward. I think that there's a potential that the city might start to be upset, and you know what I mean, things might start to happen. So I'm not really sure what exactly to do about that, but just look into the regulations and really know what other people's experiences are in the area and things like that.
Time to start voting on it, probably.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
get active with the actual city and speaking with them about these things.
Exactly. That's where like having people on council, like
Yeah.
councils and things like that, just as simple as like your city council or even like school boards, if that's your thing, or you know what I mean? Like
Right.
having people in the community will help a lot. And I think that's a good thing to kind of start, because elections are going to be coming up. Next year is going to be a big election year for a lot of things. A lot of the small positions will be available. So,
Right.
and Glitz and I have some background. I have a little bit of background in political stuff. I'm just like a peon. I do like volunteer stuff, but I think it's a good thing to start talking about and thinking about.
I think it's a good action point, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then deciding whether or not are you guys focusing on making them cheap and efficient, or are you guys focusing on it being sustainable? And then what does sustainable mean to
Where's
you?
the
Is that
balance between
sourcing
that?
wood or materials from others or from things that have a less
Yeah.
ecological impact?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
balance with it, and we're definitely pushing towards recognizing the ecological impact and, you know, and really focusing on the sustainability. You know, there's challenges associated with that, and, you know, I mean, maybe the first tiny home we do use, you know, lumber from Home
Mhm.
Depot or whatever, like, you know, because we just work with what we
Mhm.
have. But definitely
Yeah,
moving in
exactly.
that direction of then saying, okay, for the next one, then we're gonna be, you know, adding some sort of more sustainable or, you know, more mindful practices to it. But yeah, just trying to be as mindful as we can about all construction and all development. I think, you know, the way that we affect our environment is extremely important. So, yeah,
Mhm.
perfect. Anyone else have anything to add?
Well, I appreciate being able to join your meeting, and I'm behind you. Love you guys. And I don't have anything to add really, but I just wanted to say thank you
Cool. Yeah, thank you for
for
being here.
doing what you're doing. I'm behind you.
Yeah,
I might even
appreciate
come and visit you.
it.
Yeah, well, greetings to everybody that's not in Florida, you know, everybody from up the East Coast and everywhere. I can't wait for another meeting. You go ahead and post whenever you all want to meet again, and I'll do my best to figure out my phone and do this Zoom thing. And you know, the ball's in my court. You know, I have a couple things to pursue. And, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and pursue, you know, well, my goal is to have you know, a construction that minimizes the impact, you know, as far as the wood material and, stuff like that. So, you know, Chris and I can talk, you know, independently. But we'll definitely give you an update as to, you know, what we come up with, and any feedback or help on your part to help this little tiny home get off the ground is much appreciated.
Awesome.
We already have an appointment Sunday for.
Awesome. Well, I'm really
We have an
excited,
appointment
guys.
Sunday.
Is someone saying something?
Okay.
Oh, that was Ashley. Well-
Yeah, I was saying we have an appointment next Sunday with Bill for talking about the tiny home, so
That's right.
with his notes, we can just talk to Bill, and then on that meeting on Sunday, I would like to discuss what the plan is for the week to execute whatever it is you decide is best to build. So that's the timeline for the next meeting for that.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All
Yeah.
right.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for
Did,
joining on.
Did
thank you,
anyone
Sam.
check in to see who's coming to Kaya's event on
That's the
Saturday?
truth too. So yeah, so I think you know, so my birthday is on Saturday, the 16th.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Kaya's having an event down in Port Charlotte. I'm likely going to be going to that. I have a hard time making decisions for what to do for my birthday, so I'm just like hesitant to even just like commit, which is like stupid, but anyway, that's likely where I'm going to be, is down in the Port Charlotte area, spending time with whoever wants to join. I'd love to have you all there, whoever is capable of making it there. You know, it's I think.
If you think you'll go, raise your hand and we'll do a little head count.
Yeah, or just send me a message or whatever. Feel free to raise your hand now too, if you'd like. But yeah, basically just, you know, seeing who, it's I think it's a sacral chakra healing, and there'll be like, you know, that's like, it's a like kind of workshop mixed with like, you know, like drum circle, fire spinning type event, stuff like that. So,
Cool.
you know, just have a few people over there and, you know, spend some time with each other and, you know, enjoying each other's company. So, you know, maybe I'll just have you guys on Zoom. You want to hop on Zoom and show you some of it. But yeah, that's definitely something that's on the docket. I guess that's in like a few days now. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes. So keep that one in mind. Well, I love all you guys. I appreciate you all for being here. Sam, Larissa, Anna, Tom, Jessica, Zoom user.
Zoom user.
That's actually Ashley.
Zoom, bye, Zoom user.
And Amanda as well. I didn't say hello when you popped in because we were in the thick of it. Thank you for hopping on as well. And
Yeah,
taking
thanks
a
all
listen.
for being here.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. I'll
It was
keep
Thank
fun.
on
you.
touch with you. And Jeremiah as well. Little JJ. Thanks, JJ. All right, I'll see you guys.
See you, everybody.
Bye.